when he was changed into a vampire, that came with him, even though he wasn't sure about, you know, his soul or any of that stuff. Remember, this is fiction. This is not theology.
Yes.
In the fiction, he carried that with him, and he just couldn't bring himself to kill people, and he couldn't do that. And so he decided that he was going to. Well, I lived off venison. I ate venison when I was a human. I can drink deer blood, and it was still hard. I mean, the Cullens still have this natural desire for human blood, but they have changed. They've made this decision. They've made this commitment to live this lifestyle, and by making that sacrifice, they have been able to create a family, which is not something the traditional vampires in this series have been able to do. Now, how this ties in with the Christian walk. We are called to live differently than how we desire to. We are born with desires that we need to overcome. And so we have to practice self-discipline, and one of the there are several spiritual disciplines that we are to practice, and one of them is fasting. And that's what this chapter ties into is every once in a while we need to fast, whether it's food, you know, like giving up coffee or chocolate, something horrible like that.
I was going to get into that, about that. So I'm throwing this out there because she's about to answer this anyway. But it is actually it's not only just food, but there's several things of fasting. So you know what? Name a few different things, or explain about fasting.
One of the most productive fasts that I ever had in my life,
yes,
was to fast the news. I worked as a journalist for several years, and when I came out of journalism, I was just such a junkie. I was such a junkie, and it was to the point where I had to know what was happening next, and I had to follow the stories that I used to write about to see what was going on, and I realized I don't need to do that. And I quit watching the news, I quit reading the paper, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But that time became one of the best times of spiritual growth, because all of a sudden I had time to listen to God, and I had time to read the Word, and I had time to think about what that meant, and I began I gathered a group of teens around me, and I taught a teen girl Bible study, and it was just an amazing, productive time. So through that difficult choice and through that self-sacrifice, I was able to. I benefited. I reaped the rewards, the spiritual rewards of that were so much greater than, you know, knowing what happened next at, you know, X, Y, or Z. And it was just a really amazing.
So fasting,
it's an amazing experience.
Fasting is more. Extracting yourself from what you're normally always addicted to.
Right.
And it gets you a closer spiritual walk. Basically, it's a spiritual walk.
Yeah, and it's not fasting if it's not a challenge. I don't believe.
Very good.
And fasting is rewarded. God honors our fasts, and it might not be the answer we were looking for, but we will be rewarded for it.
Pretty awesome. You know, I noticed that you also not only did you added the vampire, but you have the werewolves in there. Okay, can you explain how you grafted the? I know it's a vampire and werewolf movie.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a love triangle. Bella, the human girl, is in love with Edward Cullen, the vampire, and is loved by Jacob Black, the werewolf. And even though she does love Jacob, but he's her bud, you know, not romantic love. She just really adores him. And so there's the whole Team Edward and Team Jacob thing going on. And the reason, this is like my brilliant epiphany, the reason that there are the two teams is that Edward represents eternal love, because he's a vampire, he's going to live forever, and he will love Bella forever. And Jacob represents unconditional love. He loves her the way she is. She doesn't have to change for him. He loves her exactly as she is, and wants her the way she is. He doesn't want her to change. It's completely unconditional, exactly as she is. And the good thing, the amazing thing is, the good thing is for us is that God offers both. We don't have to make the choice. God gives us eternal love and unconditional love. We say, can I have it? I'm ready.
You know what? We're going to, actually, we're going to go into our messages. And when we come back, we'll get back into the eternal love and unconditional love. We'll be right back after this. Yes, welcome back, welcome back. Ooh, them kids say pretty good. Those messages. Hey, I would like to get back into the about this with the eternal love and unconditional love. Go ahead.
Where do you want me to go now? Which
you know, I was talking because you were saying what was it, Bella or
Bella's the girl, and then Edward the vampire and Jacob the werewolf.
Okay, so Edward the vampire was with the
eternal love.
He represents in the eternal love.
Yes.
Okay, so where was you going? With that section of him being eternal love, and then the werewolf guy is unconditional love.
Well, the point I really wanted to make is that we don't really have to choose. Bella was torn. Did she choose Edward or does she choose Jacob? We don't have to choose. We get both. We get eternal and unconditional love. You know, we don't. Bella, in order for Bella to be with Edward, she would have to go through this painful transition and say goodbye to all of the human people that she's known. And so she does eventually choose the eternal love.
Wait a minute,
but she has to change.
I do want to share this. she did something that was really awesome. Let's say she's very thorough at it, but it's a discernment, spiritual eye. What she's doing is sharing that analogy of a comparison. So everybody will think that, oh, she's talking about the werewolf spiritual, you know, and there's a word jumping up and down. No, no, no. What she's sharing is about the spiritual aspects of it all. Okay, discernment. Okay, so she's using that comparison and what Bella is representing us, like when we make the choice.
Yeah, yes.
Choosing.
In this case, yeah, Bella represents us having to, but we're not Bella in that we don't have to choose eternal or unconditional.
Oh, okay.
We get both in God. Christ represents eternal and unconditional love.
Very good.
For us. So we are way more blessed than Bella. And the point of Glitter in the Sun. The point of Glitter in the Sun was to reach all these girls who are like, oh, where's my Edward? Oh, where's my Jacob? You don't need them. You've got God. God loves you more than Edward can. God loves you more than Jacob can. And even if you find someone who looks like Robert Pattinson or someone who looks like Taylor Lautner, they're not going to be the characters. You really need to put Christ first in your life in order to get that longing for eternal love and unconditional love filled before you're going to find a guy that's going to help fill the rest of the void. You know, to be your partner. You know, not a void.
Yes.
We're not going there.
but remember now, she said when we were bringing about the vegetarian, she's not trying to say, you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying drink animal blood.
No.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying give up people blood and drink animal blood. No, we're not going with the blood at all. We're saying you need to be willing to let go of some of the things you think you need, but you don't actually need, even if it's just for a season in your life. We are called to live above the ways of the world and to be better than that. And we don't learn how to do that without practicing. And we need to practice sometimes giving things up to build that strength.
Very good, very good, very good. Yes. Hey, we have some questions here. Additional let me go with this one. How do you know there is a market for a book about a series of books?
How do I know there's a market for a book
about a series of
books?
About a series of books.
Because Twilight is a series of books. There's 4 books. Actually 5.
Okay.
Because there's one that is not complete and part of it was leaked and Stephanie Meyer, the author, is like, I can't finish this now. There's just too much pressure. So there's a partial book out there on the internet, but it's really good. For the Twilight fans, you should read it. But there's a market for it? Because, well, this is the 3rd week. At this point of the filming, this is the 3rd week of Breaking Dawn Part 1. And it is still at the top of the box office. Nothing has knocked it off from number 1 yet. Then there are the fact that before Breaking Dawn came out, the previous 3 Twilight movies had grossed over $500, is that right? $500 billion? Is that what I had? It's huge.
It's huge. Let me take a look here. 500 million.
500 million.
Worldwide.
Oh, you know
what? Yes.
It will be over $1 billion by the time they're done with all 5 movies, without a doubt.
Well, I mean, adding each book up. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Billions.
The sales, just the books alone. When you look at the sales, when the first one was released, it reached number 5 on the New York Times it was number 1 in the New York Times bestseller week within 5 weeks of its release. The second book, the first print run was 100,000 books. Sold out so quickly that the advanced reader's copies that were sent out before release to the reviewers were being sold on eBay for almost $400.
Yeah, yes, it's from the ARC.
From the advanced ARC, the advanced reader's copy that went out to the New York Times book reviewer got a copy of it. And so I'm not saying that particular person sold it for that much money, but other people who got those advanced copies before anybody else did were selling them for almost $400 on eBay.
And could you share with the audience about the ARC?
That's what that is.
I mean, no, advanced readers, what is that all about?
That's